Good morning, and welcome to the special call meeting of OPS, the operation, the County Operations Committee. I am Marita Davis Johnson, and I chair this committee. My colleagues that sit with me are Commissioner Ladina Bowden and Commissioner Robert Patrick. We also have Commissioner Ted Terry with us this morning. And with that, have you all had an opportunity to review the minutes for the November the 3rd special call meeting and the minutes for the November the 4th County Operations Committee.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 1677 and 1385.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Okay, we're first gonna go over the agenda items and then we will come back and talk about the standing procedure rules and the Charter Review Committee, Charter Review recommendations. We're gonna divide the time up between the two after we've had an opportunity to go through the agenda. The first agenda item is 250376, All Commission Districts, Development of a Child Care Reimbursement Policy and Pilot Program for the Board of Commissioners.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have an updated version for you here.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Commissioners. John Manson, Senior Policy Analyst. My apologies, sir. Yes, sir. What we have before you is an updated policy for your consideration. There have been changes made based on the committee's recommendations. Specifically, this has been rewritten to be specific to the Board of Commissioners only. And there is the language changes that we've had previously. So staff is asking for your review of this policy, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, first committee members, do you all have any questions? Okay.
I do have a question, Madam
Okay.
Chair. Again, the administration is opting not to be participant in this? Okay.
Are you saying, Zach, that the administration does not wish to be a participant in this? Because my thoughts were that if the board is being compensated, then whoever has to be there to staff the board after hours should be compensated as well. I mean, if I have a town hall meeting and I get compensation for my kids, and that town hall meeting is I have to have someone from planning and zoning there, and planning and zoning has kids also. Is it fair for me to be compensated for my kids and just tell planning and zoning that they have to be there, and whatever you have to do to provide for your kids' child care, your dependent care, child care is on you? That's my question.
Yes, so at this point, the administration is not
considering implementing this for the county employees under the CEO's purview.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just have questions about, I guess, some of the logistics. How long is the pilot program?
1 year.
1 year. And does that include registrations, applications, onboarding of individuals, or is it 1 year after we selected the court? Then that 1 year begins after we have the folks who will participate?
It would be for any eligible employees during that 1 year period.
Does the 1 year start after we've identified the folks that have participated, or does that include them applying, getting the approvals, and whatever other onboarding process?
Yes, ma'am. It would be inclusive of starting the program itself.
Okay. So they would be able to, the time that they actually use it or opt in will probably be a little bit less than a year because of however long it would take to onboard the participants.
I wouldn't say that. I think that from application to approval of an individual for reimbursements, it could be for that specific year, whether that's retroactive or not.
Okay. And then after the pilot program, do we have a strategy for it to determine how we'll look at, I'm gonna call it the data, because that's the norm for me, how we'll look at the data or the feedback in order to determine steps forward to make it a broader program? Have we already thought about that part already?
Yes, ma'am. In some aspects, what we would do is look at our attendance data currently and for the past couple of years, and then see how that might change as we implement this pilot program.
And then after that, we would probably have to come back and put forth some new language to amend where the gaps are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, thank you. I yield back.
And does that, with the commission, does that include the employees of the commission
Yes, ma'am.
in addition to the commissioners themselves?
No, ma'am.
It doesn't include the commission,
No, ma'am.
it includes employees.
Only
Or
employees.
just the dependent, I should say,
Per,
of the,
yes, ma'am. Per the dependent language that you requested.
and would that extend to any time that they're working after hours?
It's not really a concern of employees working after hours. The thought is that this would be something that would allow for an employee to choose what type of dependent care they needed, no matter what their schedule is. So it's really more focused on the care as opposed to an employee schedule.
Oh, okay. So that would mean 5 days a week,
Yes, ma'am.
Monday through Friday, plus any additional time.
It would be whatever the employee's cost of care is.
And what is the estimate cost for that?
For the Board of Commissioners for the 1 year period, the approximate cost is about $119,000, so we have it rounded to $120,000.
And that's full-time.
It's only for full-time
Yes,
employees.
and it's full-time for every employee of the commission,
Yes, ma'am.
plus any overtime that they may. And when I say overtime, I mean comp time that they may be required, because my staff oftentimes, okay, I'm sorry, because my staff oftentimes work after hours.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's including the after hours and the regular, okay. Okay, thank you.
I guess the comment I would have is I think it's a great idea. My concern is now, as it was back in the day, is that if it's just for the Board of Commissioners or the department of the Board of Commissioners,
It would
It may
be for
be-
the department, sir.
Understood. It's not for the electeds, it's for the staff that supports the Board of Commissioners. It's just the perception that perhaps we're giving an added benefit or bonus to this particular department is my only concern. And that's why I was sort of hoping the CEO's office would have come along and been willing to engage in this pilot project, even for a very small department. I think it would be ideal. As I said, when I was an employee, we had this as an option, and it was very helpful. I think back in the day, it was $10,000 per kid at childcare, right, daycare, and that was for a newborn all the way up to I think about 4 or 5 years old. So it is a benefit, most definitely. As I said, my hope was that the executive office would also be willing to engage in this pilot program.
And John, could you state, is there a max, that is a max on that per employee?
Yes, ma'am. It would be a max of 2 children or 2 dependents, whether that's a child, an adult, or 2 adults, but a max of $500 per dependent.
For the year?
No, per month.
Oh, 500 per month.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Okay, is there a motion? Any other, I didn't ask you, Commissioner Terry, do you have anything?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did want to point out that the maximum amount is $500 per dependent per month, which certainly wouldn't be a full reimbursement. So if we wanted to go for full reimbursement, it might be closer to what, $1,000 a month. I mean, I don't have children, so I don't know how much it costs for childcare.
The cost
We
of
can't
childcare.
afford childcare.
Yeah, no, we couldn't. It would be too much.
Right. Well, just give me the number though.
Personally, childcare for one child, for a child not in pre-K is $984 a month.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is a pretty restrained policy. We could have opted to pay for full childcare, which is what Fulton County did earlier this year. They're wrapping up their pilot to provide full childcare. The state of New Mexico just announced that they're going to provide universal pre-K and 3K for every child in that state. So I think it's a pretty pragmatic approach. And again, the goal is to accomplish what Madam CEO has laid out in her first term, that she wants to have a high functioning and efficient organization. And I would submit that if our employees are struggling to cover childcare or dependent care, because again, this could be an aging adult at home. This is what I brought up before of what's called the sandwich generation. Simply put, some employees have to take care of a younger person and an older person at the same time, or independently and separately, and that creates a higher likelihood of using sick days, being distracted at work. I mean, all the things you can imagine if you're not secure at home, how that would impact your work. And I would like to believe that DeKalb County as an organization considers itself a family, and we shouldn't expect our employees who are part of our family, if they cannot adequately care for their own family, expect them to choose the DeKalb family over their own family. And so this is an opportunity for us to, look at the data over this next year, test those assumptions, do some surveys, see how it goes if we approve it. Thank you.
Excuse me, is that $500 per child? And is limited to 2, so that could be $1,000 per month. And, I mean, I agree with you, but, I agree with what Ted says, but the perception, for one, is not good. And secondly, I wish I could do some things that my neighbor does. But me and my neighbor's not on the same budget. And so we have to, I think, do what's fair for our employees and work within the budget that we have. And, you know, I just, you know, I mean, I can't support it. I got somebody in my office with kids, and I got somebody that just got married or probably will have kids. Got two more that are probably, they are the age of having kids. And I just think that, you know, I just think that if we offer it for our people, it should be offered for at least those that staff us in the evenings, but then that's a choice that the CEO has made. But sounds good. But is there a motion?
Yes, ma'am, and before I make it, I just want to say I think this is a great starting point for us to roll out, and the language that you just provided for us, Commissioner Terry, is something that we can consider moving forward when we roll it out more broadly. But we're just looking to collect data at this point, and we, you know, won't be able to meet the need in the pilot, but we can definitely have the conversation about doing more later. So with that being said, as the only person with children of age that could potentially be eligible for the program,
Yes.
you have a 12-year-old?
No.
Oh, no, they're teenagers.
Right. I think the max age on here is 12.
Oh, okay.
I have a 7 and a 10-year-old. And so I would love to see this pilot for our staff. So I move to approve item 202-50376.
Is there a second? Once more, is there a second? You know,
I'd like to make a motion to advance this to the full board without a recommendation.
Okay, I can second that.
oh, okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay. So let it be advanced with no recommendation. Okay, the next item. The next item is 25-16-50. All commission districts to amend the FY25 budget to create a deputy chief of staff role within the Board of Commissioners Central Staff and authorize the hiring of a deputy chief of staff. Who's speaking on that? Okay. Okay, I'll just, I think that this has already been continued. Hadn't this been continued to the, I don't have my notes.
No, we haven't heard it in committee.
We haven't heard it in committee yet.
This is his first appearance.
Oh, okay. I can't make any motions, but I think that we should have a chief of staff in place before we start talking about salaries or qualifications for a deputy chief of staff.
I feel the same way. I don't support amending the fiscal year budget to create that position without having a chief of staff.
Is there a motion?
Motion to defer 30 days, which takes us into, I guess, the first meeting in January.
Yeah, what is the first meeting in January?
The first meeting in January will be January 13th.
January 13th, that's the first,
Board meeting.
okay.
Okay, so
First ops meeting in January is January 6th.
Okay, and what about the second meeting in January, of ops?
That would be January 20th, and then we require January 27th.
okay, motion to defer to January 27 with a prior stop at ops.
Yeah, okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The next item is 25-1695, all commission districts, a resolution of the Government Authority of DeKalb County to establish a process for selection of voting delegates to represent DeKalb County in association and organizational matters. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so, does anyone want to comment on it? Have any?
I think perhaps District 2 representative should be here
Be
to,
here, okay, so
introduce
we
it.
wanna, let's continue, defer this until when? Okay.
I thought that the ACCG had asked us to set a process. So I don't know if y'all had received any communication about the uniqueness, because in their rules, it just says, I think it just says the chair, their rules are set up for the 158 other counties. And ours is different. I don't know if law department could just speak about ACCG and what their rules say versus what we're trying to, meld with theirs.
Okay. Can Matthew speak on that?
Yeah, so commissioners, Commissioner Longspears did ask the law department to work on this. I've been working on it with her. She asked specifically that we look at the bylaws of NACO and ACCG to make sure that nothing in these provisions conflicted with those, and that it was complementary to those. We're in the process of doing that now. I have provided a draft to Commissioner Spears. I just did that on Friday, to be clear, and I haven't gotten feedback on that yet, so a deferral would be in our interest, certainly.
Are we looking at the government authority to also be inclusive of that if we so choose?
The way this is currently drafted, ma'am, it would allow nomination of any member of the governing authority to serve, which would, of course, include the 7 elected commissioners and the CEO.
Okay. Okay, anything further, theory?
Well, I do think the context of that discussion is there's commonly an absence of a consideration of how DeKalb's governing authority is constructed with the CEO and the board.
Right.
And we have to be very careful about applying generic language to our structure. So the question you posed is an important one.
Right.
But the second step of that question is how would the CEO participate beyond being the appointed person from this governing authority?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have a unique form of government in Georgia. That's because we're unique. Okay, so is there a motion on this?
Motion to defer to the January 27 ops with a prior stop, or pardon me, January 27 BOC with a prior stop in ops.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's deferred to January 27th. Fleet management, 25-15-54. Source well contract, ground maintenance, equipment, and related attachments. You wanna read that? Cause I'm
about to finish it.
okay. You wanna read that?
All right.
Okay, well, yeah, he can read it. Go on.
Okay. Item 1554, cooperative agreement, Sourcewell contract number 112624, SCG grounds maintenance equipment and related attachments for use by Public Works, fleet management to be used by the Public Works, Recreation, Parks and Cultural Affairs, RPCA. This request seeks to purchase from the competitively let Sourcewell contract number 112624-SCG for the provision of 11 Skag Turf Tiger 61-inch cut mowers for the purpose of maintaining various recreational fields and parks throughout the county. Awarded to Skag Power Equipment in care of Orange Property, Inc., doing business as Campbell's Lawn Equipment, an amount not to exceed $147,565. Director Gordon.
Yes, Madam Chair. These are mowers that will be used by the Park and Rec Department, and they are replacements. I'm sorry, they're normal replacements, on our normal replacement cycle. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions? Okay, from committee members first. Any questions?
Just want to know how long that cycle is, how frequently we replace them.
On these mowers, it's about 5 years.
Ooh, okay.
Anything from you? Oh, yeah, were you finished? Okay, anything?
No questions.
Okay, Commissioner Terry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Gordon, are these gas powered?
Correct, they are.
Okay. I believe over the last 2 years, my office has coordinated with Parks and Rec. I think you were involved in some point as well to showcase electric powered lawn equipment, including mowers, leaf blowers, augers. They even have little Roomba looking mowers that are AI powered and autonomous that cut golf course grass. And something that I think would save the county money over the life of any contract. And since we do have a 100% clean energy and clean transportation goal, has the department looked at any electric powered equipment?
According to the Park and Rec folks, they did test a few things and they come up with, for these particular mowers, would not be able to handle it with the electric. These are to mow big, large fields, football fields and soccer fields is what they told me. And that they felt like they needed to still have gas powered for these particular mowers.
Okay, so we're gonna have 11 mowers that can cut baseball fields and football fields at the same time, going at once?
I can't tell you how they're actually gonna use them, because I know baseball season, football season is separate. But they said these mowers would, I mean, they might have to cut other stuff as well. But as far as the electrics handling the big mower fields, they told me that the electrics would not work for what they need.
Okay,
And then the guy that come and did the demonstration for us, and I was talking about that what he designed, or what his mowers electrics that he used was for half acres and smaller lots, that he didn't think his business case would work if he started using more than about an acre at a time. Now, I don't know, because I'm not a mower person as far as goes out, how much it does, but the gentleman that did make the presentation was, he was trying to do those size because he knew he could make money on those, that he wasn't sure he could on the larger stuff.
okay. Madam Chair, I might recommend that this be deferred to the PEX committee because it's specifically a Parks and Rec contract, and it's specifically pertaining to the use within their department. And so, no offense to the fleet director, the user department simply requested this, and it sounds like you haven't done any review yourself.
And on electric, I have not.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's, to me, would be advantageous if the user department
Okay, I
presented
understand.
their information on why they chose these 11 gas-powered ones
Okay.
and why they didn't go with even 1 or 2 electric in some of the other cases.
Is there, excuse me, is there a time frame?
There's not a particular time frame on this one.
Okay, did you have something that you wanted to?
Just wanted to add that, because I do believe in electric, I went up to Howard Brothers, just at the Doraville-Gwinnett County line, and when talking with them about electric mowers, they were not convinced on a more of a commercial or industrial scale that they are ready for that type of usage yet. That's just an anecdotal statement, and I'm comfortable if it goes over to PEX for a conversation with the user department as well, but I'm just not sure the technology is there.
Is
for
this
that.
not an ops item, an operations?
I believe
mean,
it-
it may be used by, but is this an ops item?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
So if it's an ops item, why should it be sent to PAX?
Madam Chair, what I was saying
Well,
earlier.
I'm talking to him right now.
I'm just trying to be friendly and get us out of
Well, I
here
mean,
together.
friendly is fine, but this is an ops item.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And
Okay, do you have anything, Commissioner Bowden?
Oh, no, no.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes, what I was saying earlier is just because it was assigned to ops doesn't mean it necessarily is an ops item. I
Well,
think,
why is it not an ops item?
well, I'll just lay out my case right here for you. It says Public Works Fleet Management to be used by Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs.
Yeah.
So if the user department, which is Parks and Rec, is under a different committee, our practice has been to have that committee hear the item. I think what happened is someone just saw fleet management and they said, that's ops.
Okay,
But it's
so,
not clear, it's not as clear, clean and cut as it just is a fleet management decision.
County Attorney, Interim County Attorney, can you, can you comment on that, please?
Well, I'll offer this, Commissioner. The assignment of items to committees is often clouded such that you could have more than one committee. And frankly, what I'm hearing is that this going through the Fleet Department left it directed to the Ops Committee. But the Fleet Department then provides equipment, as we all know, to all the other departments in the county. And in this instance, I think the equipment's being assigned to the Parks Department.
Correct.
So any discussion from the Parks Department about its needs may end up being assigned to a different committee. But that's how this seems to have gone, and that would be consistent with your rules for committee assignment.
Okay. Okay, so that means that anything that goes through fleet that's being used by another department goes to another department, goes to a different committee?
No, it means it could warrant sending something to
okay.
a second committee. Often items, again, go to more than one committee
Okay.
because of the multifaceted
Okay.
part of it.
Since this is not a urgent matter, I have no problems with it being deferred until our next meeting in ops. And do you want to make anybody want to make a? Okay.
I just like a little bit more clarity on that. Is there any language that says PECs couldn't be invited to support the director in answering the fleet-specific questions? Like why they chose this equipment? Is there language that say we can't invite them to this meeting?
When you say PECs, do you mean parks?
I'm sorry, I meant parks.
Okay.
The
No,
Parks
there's nothing that
Department.
prevents this committee from having parks join the Fleet Department in explaining this item. That's certainly permissible.
I can say 98% of all the vehicles that come through directly come. Occasionally, something winds up in another committee, and I don't really know what happens, but 98% comes through ops. And if the department needs to come and defend it, they've done it before. Typically, I always handle it for them, but if something comes up, they can certainly attend the next meeting. It's not a problem. They'll be more glad to do it.
Okay.
How about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead, because you're probably gonna say what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
No, it's going to be scary. Okay, here we go. What if we approve this and at the BOC meeting, if the PECS chair is interested in hearing this, the chair will have the opportunity to say, I'd like to run this through PECS before a final vote. If that is agreeable to committee members, then I'll make a motion to approve and then we'll see where it goes once it gets to the full board.
Yeah, I would be amenable to that.
Okay, so motion to approve.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
just a point of order. Just so y'all are aware, in the past, when a commissioner has asked for another item to go to another committee, there hasn't really been an issue with it. So I think what you voted on just now is deviating from that practice. If another committee would like to hear an item, I don't think anyone has argued against that.
Okay, so that will be determined at the board meeting. We passed it, and whatever happens at the board meeting happens. But, the PECS chair is not here. And so it's approved, and whatever happens at the meeting happens. Thank you, Director. Okay, 25-15-49. Yeah,
1549, statewide contract number 9999 SPD T201205001-0004, network equipment for the use by Department of Innovation and Technology. This request seeks to ratify a previously issued purchase order to purchase from the competitively let statewide contract, as mentioned above, 99999. For the annual upgrade and renewal of the county's Avaya telephone system, which includes software support and maintenance services, awarded to Avaya Inc., care of Carousel Industries of North America, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $410,035.70.
good
Director
morning.
Shelton.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. So the Department of Innovation and Technology, we utilize this contract to support the county's telephone system, which is Avaya. The renewal includes essential software support, system updates, and maintenance services required to ensure the continuity of operations across the county's enterprise telephony environment. The total maintenance cost covers the entire Avaya platform, including core servers, the IVR system, as well as the voicemail system. So we're just looking to extend that contract. Excuse me.
Okay. Are there any questions from commissioners or concerns? Okay.
Does this include the courts and constitutional offices? Do they all use Avaya?
Yes,
This
they
is
do.
everybody.
Yes.
And what was the duration this was for?
This is just for 1 year.
Okay, this is for 1 year. And just something really minor, I noticed the number is different. There are 4 9s at the top versus in the body, there are 5. And I yield back.
Okay, did you want to answer from Zach on that?
I'll have us double check that and clean it up.
It should be the same number.
I'm guessing it's simply Scrivener's, but we'll ensure that the appropriate, it's written appropriately.
Okay. Robert, do you,
No questions.
Commissioner Terry? Okay. Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve item 2025-1549.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Okay, the next is fleet.
Item number 1593.
Oh, that's, okay,
Source.
it's, okay.
Sole source fleet management software site license support for use by Department of Innovation and Technology consists of the 4-year purchase of asset software used for managing repairs and the servicing of county vehicles by fleet to prevent loss of use. Faster software is software currently being used by Public Works Fleet Management to manage the maintenance, parts, and condition of county vehicles for police, fire rescue, and other various departments. Awarded to TT Faster LLC, doing business as Faster Asset Solutions, in an amount not to exceed $446,754.71. Director?
So yes, as you stated, Faster is software used by fleet management to manage the maintenance, parts, and condition of the county vehicles. This is used, the county vehicles for departments such as police, fire, sanitation, and so forth. This is a fully hosted solution that the county continues to use for an additional 4 years.
Okay.
I just want to clarify, is this a platform for tracking those services and or products that you just listed? It's
Yes.
tracking
Yes,
system, okay.
Just a follow-up question. So I know the CEO's office had prepared that assessment, operational assessment of all of the different departments. And I recall there was some conversation about a software package to help track more effectively what they're doing with the parts. Is this part of that plan addressing those concerns?
We've been using this software for 25 years, over 25 years, and this is just a continuation of it. It can be and will assist us in doing dashboards for the CEO and doing initiatives.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Thank you much.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Terry, you have anything? Okay. So, is there a motion?
I move to approve item 2025-1593.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go back to discussions. The first one is the standard procedure rules. And I don't have my book, I hate that. You, look, you can see it. Okay, so it's now 6:26. 10:26, I'm sorry. And our meeting lasts until 11 o'clock. And so we're dividing that time. So that's roughly about 15, 16, 17 minutes each.
Let's do it.
Okay, so 17 minutes, somebody give me a time over there, 17 minutes for this first discussion. Okay,
So Commissioners, I have an updated document for you. It speaks to what we spoke to last time in committee. Things that are been highlighted in green are things that we have reached consensus on. Moving to
that
page
green is really hard to read,
too dark. Yes, ma'am.
but
Okay. We're gonna go straight to page 2, number 4, quorum. Based on our last discussion, staff has attempted to create a guide to move through this document. So for this section, this section is for quorum, and it speaks to quorum of the meeting. There was a new sentence added in Commissioner Long Spears' suggestion. It is the sentence that starts, in the event that any zoning-related item considered for adoption receives 4 no votes, that item shall be considered denied and shall be removed from future committee and board agendas. That is the new language, and the intent from the commissioner is to create a process for the removal of items from the agenda. For zoning items, it's very specific. The disposition can be withdrawal, denial, approval, but for other items, I think we had an instance of this last meeting where something received 4 or did not receive 4 affirmative votes, but what do we do with it after that? However, I do think.
did it receive 4 denials?
The initial vote was not for denial, Commissioner. There was a vote to pass it. It did not receive 4 votes. And then there was an alternative motion to defer the item. And the deferral did pass.
Okay. So what this is saying, if we get 4 votes for denial, it's off. Isn't it off anyway?
No.
Okay.
So, and what I would suggest, Commissioner, specifically for this language, I think the original language for quorum is okay, but I think that this change should be moved to a different section. I think it has section 10 of the rules, which speaks to authorized action by the commission itself. So I'd like to, if you could flip over to page 6, number 10. That's
And explain why you feel that way.
Yes, ma'am. The quorum section should just speak to quorum and what qualifies as quorum.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This additional sentence speaks to the disposition of items.
Okay.
I feel that should be in the authorized action section because we do have a section that speaks to that already.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
let's talk about that right quick.
Yes, ma'am. So that would
Okay.
be page 6, number 10, authorized action.
No, let's talk about this item.
Okay,
right now.
yes, ma'am.
And
So,
that is, should this be taken out and considered in other language and just continue to focus on quorum in this item? Okay, so are there any questions or concerns or comments from committee members? Yeah,
and the only feedback that we got from other commissioners was to revert to the original language, and that came from Commissioner Shakira Johnson.
okay. Do you have anything,
No, I'm gonna say I'm fine with the original language.
Commissioner Terry? Okay, yeah, so we're fine. We're fine with that original language.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
let's discuss the additional language that was put in here. And you said in section 10,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Okay,
Where it says, under quorum, or any 4 members of the commission may call for a meeting, would that be a special called business meeting? How would we call that?
I believe that whatever meeting you all call for, you'd have to advertise as such. So if you were calling a cow, then you would call it as a cow. Yeah, you have to do it in writing. So if 4 commissioners got together and said they wanted to have a special call business meeting, but I would defer to the law department.
Madam Chair, may I comment? Presumably, at the passage of your annual calendar, all of your normally scheduled meetings, both cow and meetings, would be set. So for 4 commissioners to then schedule an additional meeting, it would likely be a specially called meeting, be it a cow or a regular meeting. But it would be specially called because it would be outside of what has already been set in your annual calendar.
Okay. So there's no stipulation on whether it has to be considered a business or a cow. It can be either or, depending on what it is that we want.
Correct.
Thank you. I yield back.
okay.
If the county attorney can just clarify, I thought the question was, how can 4 commissioners call a meeting? And I believe, in my experience, is they wouldn't get together because that'd be a quorum. But if there was, say, an email sent to the Board of Commissioners and the Law Department, I think we should have a meeting on this date. And if 3 other commissioners say, I think that's a great idea, let's do it, is that the triggering action for the clerk and the board staff to proceed with calling that meeting?
I think that's a little different than the way I understood the question, but I'll deal with what you're saying now. You are correct, Commissioner Terry. 4 commissioners should not get together to discuss it. Obviously, any gathering would be an open meetings issue. But yes, an email notifying others that the meeting will be called. Typically, that type of communication is important to make sure you can establish a quorum. And then having central staff provide the proper notices and the like would be the normal procedure. An email is a fine way to do that.
Okay, so 4 will remain the same.
Yes,
Will,
ma'am.
okay.
We have consensus on the original language.
Right.
Moving on to the next page, number 8, night committee of the whole meetings we discussed at the last meeting.
What page are you?
Page number 3, Commissioner.
3,
We did discuss this at the last meeting. Highlighted in yellow, staff has attempted to develop language that captures exactly what you all requested at the committee.
And that was may
Yes, ma'am.
rather than shall.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is it any comment or questions on that? Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
So
moving
let's go to the
on,
next.
number 9 on page 3, inclement weather. There was a suggested language change from Commissioner Long Spears. And it speaks to teleconference or Zoom meetings in the inclement weather section of your rules. It's really,
Is that on page
it's still on page 3, yes, ma'am.
3? Okay.
And the intent I believe that the commissioner's intent was to clarify the language around emergency circumstances and how we move forward.
So what are these changes in the event of inclement weather?
It speaks to a remote format based on county operations, the closure of county operations. And then it also speaks to allowing attendance via teleconference, Zoom, or other electronic means, so long as such attendance complies with requirements of the Open Meetings Act.
Well, now, if the county is closed, we couldn't have a Zoom meeting.
Yes, ma'am. I think that it speaks to circumstances where, for example, we may not be able to be in office, but we could still have the meeting. So if it were an emergency, say a hurricane, where the county operations might still be open. However, the building, people may not be coming into the building itself.
Right, so there's certain operations.
Okay.
If I may. So, Commissioners, I believe that the intent of that change was simply to reflect a recent change in state law that does allow you all to hold meetings remotely when a state of emergency has been declared at the federal, state, or local level. So understanding that there may be some process or operational issues when the county is fully closed, you may not be able to take advantage of this. But the idea was to make the rules match current state law and give all the flexibility that state law currently provides.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we fine with that?
Yes.
Okay, and legal has reviewed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so we good with that?
Yes, ma'am. Moving on to page 4, number 4, full reading of purpose for agenda item. Commissioner Long Spears has a suggested language change. No motion may be heard nor any action taken on an individual agenda item without a reading of the listed subject and number for the agenda item. This rule shall not apply to the consent agenda, which can be adopted in whole or in part through a single motion and with a single reference to the details that are included in the printed agenda.
Oh, okay, excuse me, Commissioner Lone Spears is trying to get into this ops committee. Is she in? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm here, Commissioner Davis Johnson, just to note.
Oh, okay, I just saw your text. Okay,
Thank you. I couldn't get in earlier, but thank you so much.
okay. Okay, John.
Yes, ma'am. So I believe that the commissioner's intent with this particular item was to ensure that we speak to the difference between consent agenda items and regular agenda items. It's not clearly stated in the original language.
Okay, and that's number,
That's on page 4, number 4.
so does anyone have any comments on that?
I do.
Okay,
Is this specific to the business meeting?
Yes, it would be because your committee of the whole meeting is an agenda setting meeting.
And what we're iterating here is that with the exception of consent items, which can be abbreviated, everything else should be read in whole.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's to the discretion of committee members whether they read in whole or abbreviate. Since it's not explicitly stated, I'm just looking for confirmation.
This doesn't speak to the committee itself. This would speak to in a Board of Commissioners meeting. In a committee meeting, it is to the discretion of the chair.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Okay. Anything further? Okay. Okay, I mean, is that good with everyone? Okay.
Madam Chair, to me, it makes sense. If Commissioner Masai was available, I'd just like to hear her perspective on keeping the original language, but otherwise, it would save some time going through our agendas, probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that means that the consent agenda can be abbreviated, and that doesn't mean that if something need to be pulled from the consent.
It doesn't preclude
Okay.
that, no, ma'am.
Okay, well, that'll be fine unless she have an objection.
Right.
to that. Okay, what's the next one?
The next item would be still on page.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
One of the differences that I'm noting in the original language versus what was recommended by Commissioner Long Spears, and I'm wondering if this has anything to do with it. One says to be read by the chair, and I don't think it explicitly says that the chair needs to read the item in Commissioner Long Spears' statement, or if it even indicates that has to be the presiding officer.
It does not.
Okay. All right, I yield back. I just wanted to
I
know
believe
if that was
that
left out intentionally.
I believe that may speak to the fact that, and we've seen this more than once this year, the use of our deputy presiding officer to adjudicate items. But there may be an instance where the presiding officer and the deputy presiding officer may be predisposed and cannot do this action. So I believe that it was not specified within the language to allow for that circumstance.
So I would assume whomever would be presiding, whether it be the presiding officer or the deputy presiding officer, if either one of them are unavailable, then that person, whichever one it would be, would make the decision who would be designated to speak for them.
Yes, ma'am.
And why did we deviate from the chair?
This is the commissioner's request for language.
Can Commissioner Spears, did you want to speak to that? Why you would like to deviate from the chair?
Commissioner Bolton, I had stepped away and I just stepped back. Could you just give me a little bit of context quickly about what we're talking about? And I'll be happy to provide the rationale.
Yes, ma'am. So we're looking at page 4, item 4, regarding the full reading of purpose. And in the original statement, it says a reading by the chair, but in your recommended statement, it doesn't indicate that. And we were just discussing whether that language was left out intentionally, and I was asking if you could share why that was left out.
Does this, ma'am, relate to the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so
Well, not just the consent agenda, that item.
I'm not looking, unfortunately, I can't see the screen at the meeting right now, so I'm not looking at what you all are looking at. But I can tell you right here, right now, is that the spirit of many of my recommendations related to our blue book had to do with increasing efficiency of our meetings. And so if the question is it relate to reading just the number of the item for consent agenda? Or is it particular, I remember we discussed that, or is it related to the passing of the gavel if both the PO and DPO are unable to preside over it? Is that correct?
No, just asking why. In the original language, it says the chair should read the item, and it doesn't say specifically consent agenda or anything. It just says full reading of purpose for agenda item. And the original language says that the chair should read the item but in the suggested language, it doesn't say anything about the chair reading the item. And I was just asking if that was left out on purpose and what was the reasoning behind that?
All right, understood. So point one is, going back to what I said, is that a lot of my recommended changes had to do with, again, increasing efficiency so that we could make it through our agenda in a reasonable amount of time. And again, I'm in my car, I'm not looking at it right now. But I believe though, Commissioner Bolton, is that if I'm correct here, and I worked with Mr. Manson and Mr. Welch on this many, many months ago, was to make it where we could read as little as possible for the item. But yes, it should be either the presiding officer, the deputy presiding officer, and of course, we've had some instances, in fact, the last meeting we did, where neither myself nor the DPO could hold the gavel. One of us had to recuse and the other abstained. And so I'm not quite certain if I'm getting quite to the spirit of your question, because again, I'm not looking at.
I think Commissioner Longspears, what Commissioner Bolden is saying, rather than just choosing someone from the board, that it should be the chair that speaks on it, rather than if the presiding officer, the deputy presiding officer is not available, then it should be the chair.
You mean the chair of the committee for that specific item?
Yeah.
You're getting that? Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right.
and I was just trying to understand why it changed.
Yes, so that would make, excuse me, again, I'm driving, that does make sense. Yes, if
Okay.
the presiding officer is not available, like the last meeting, for example, the deputy presiding officer wasn't available, she had to abstain, then I think something that needs to be considered is defaulting to the chair of the committee for that specific item. Yes,
Yeah.
that makes, but again, I'm open to the will of the board. Again, many of my recommendations related to just, seeking efficiencies, quite frankly.
Okay. So is anyone in opposition of the chair taking it if the presiding officer, the deputy, is not available, then the chair, whatever that committee, would take it? Is that, okay, so that's good. Let's put that language in there.
Yes, ma'am. Staff will work on that
And that
language.
way to be consistent.
And we can start here when we come.
Yeah, okay, so I want to give sufficient time for both of these items to move forward. And so we're gonna have about 15 more minutes, 12 minutes on the charter review.
Thank you,
And next
Commissioners.
time, we'll take the charter review first.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll alternate
Yes,
how they go. And when I say first, after my agenda items, okay. And I will like to say that I did add one to the list of, on the Blue Book. We now have 10 minutes for the first, each commissioner have 10 minutes for the first comment and 10 minutes for the second comment. My modification or recommendation is that we have 10 minutes for the first comment, 5 minutes for the second comment, because a lot of times it's redundant. And for the purposes of efficiency, because if everyone take 20 minutes to talk on one item in a meeting, we'll never get out of that meeting. And so that would be my discussion when we come back for the rules. That's the last change that I made. Okay.
Davis Johnson, this is Commissioner Spears. I just want to echo your suggested change. I'm highly in favor of that amendment due to last week is a classic example of having a 9-hour day.
Yeah.
And 8 hour of meeting. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Good suggestion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's move on.
Matthew will lead us in the,
I'm sorry.
Deputy County Attorney Matthew Welsh will lead us in this discussion, if it's okay, Madam Chair.
Is this what we got again? While we have this.
Yes, ma'am. That's the document that we prepared. Just as a reminder, what that document is, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, the Charter Review Commission did prepare a full report with recommendations to this body. What we have done is taken the summary that they themselves prepared. It appears on page 51 of their report. We have taken their summary and we have added this column all the way to the far right regarding home rule provisions. Just as a reminder, what is the home rule? The home rule is the provision of the Georgia Constitution that allows us to make our own laws. It essentially says we can make laws that aren't in conflict with state or federal laws, and then gives us an additional power to adjust certain local acts that apply to DeKalb County. Of course, the Org Act is such a local act. So it is possible that certain provisions of the Org Act can be changed by this body without legislative action. However, the Org Act itself has additional limitations. Any change that affects the powers of either this body or the board, or the CEO, that affects the term of the office of any elected official or the method of election of those officials does require a vote or referendum. So it's important as we look at the charter review recommendations to look at it through that lens. Is it something that's going to affect the power, term, or method of election of one of our elected officials? If it is, only the legislature can pick up that item. Okay, it's not something that can be done at this level. I will reiterate our advice, however, that this document be looked at in total, rather than look at changes that maybe you all can make and then reserve other suggested changes for the legislature. It would be our recommendation that the document be looked at holistically, and that all suggested recommendations, recommended changes that you all can support be conveyed to the legislative delegation in one packet for them to consider. I think.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, with the home rule, and I remember at the dinner with the legislators, and they were saying anything that we wanted to change with home rule, we need to get to them ASAP. As opposed, you're saying it take it holistically. It may be some things we may not get through this holistically in time to present a holistic package to the legislature this year. But we can pull out those items that is home rule that we agree on right now to submit to our delegation.
Yes, ma'am. However you all would like to proceed. Our only concern with that approach is we're just going to want to be real careful that any change to one section doesn't render another section meaningless or bring it into question. That's why we always advise in the law department you look at the entirety of the document. But I hear what you're saying, and certainly with the time crunch and the session will be here before we know it.
Right.
So there are certainly items that could be pulled out and dealt with discreetly, meaning on their own.
Okay. Is there? Oh, there you are, Dan. Dan, what you think about that?
So on the home rule, you're talking about issues you can do on your own. Yeah, I mean, I think that what the delegation wants is things that they need to do, the things that you all can deal with on your own, to be dealt with by the Board of Commissioners locally, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that way because we may not get through all of this in time for the session, but we can deal with home rule now. And so that's some of what I'd like to focus on too, is what can we give them for home rule that could be benefited that can be a benefit for DeKalb in this next legislative session.
So just to be clear for the other commissioners, ma'am, if we have the power to address it via home rule, that's something that we can do here without the required action of the legislative delegation. Pieces that we cannot address via home rule, again, those that address powers, terms, or method of election. So for example, let me give you a concrete example, see if we can make this a little simpler. One of the areas recommended for change by the Charter Review Commission is filling vacancies on this board or in the office of the CEO, okay? That's something that the county has experienced in the last decade in both the CEO's office and just last year, vacancies on this board prior to election. Those were pretty high on the list of Charter Review recommendations, but those would require board action, legislative action. So if that's something that we wanted to address before the next election cycle comes back around, even if we don't get through the entirety of the document, that's one we would need to send to the legislature now.
That was my point.
Yes, ma'am. So we need to, if the idea is to get them things that they can act on this session, then I think what our best avenue would be is, as you look through this document, those in the last column that say no means a referendum is likely required and legislative action is required. We can prioritize those and discuss them in the priority that makes sense to you and send them on to the legislature as those priorities are identified. The document that you have in front of you, not this, the actual item, the actual agenda item that is pending, provides for two alternatives. One, for you all to simply pass along the Charter Review recommendations in whole and ask the legislature to pick that up. But it also allows for you all to make select recommendations. It sounds like that may be where we're going, is that we'll be recommending portions but not the whole.
Yes, I think that, I think that this is November. I heard the delegation very clearly say that what we can do, y'all send it to us as soon as possible. There's not agreement on all of this. So it's not agreement on all of this. I think that we should focus first on home rule. And then if there's time, if we agree on everything before, fine. But if not, we will have identified items that we can do home rule that may benefit the county.
Yes, ma'am.
As we move forward. I think you had a comment, Commissioner Bowden. No. Oh, you didn't? Did you have a comment?
No.
Okay. Did you have a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to reflect as a commissioner who has been in office since this journey began.
Well, I have too.
Well, I'm just speaking for myself.
Oh, okay.
And I guess you were here too.
Yeah.
So this is for the good of the whole. The Charter Review Commission spent 2 whole years, 22 months going over every single line of the charter. And when did they give us their recommendations?
I believe it was December of 2023.
Okay.
I believe.
So here we are 2 years later, and we didn't spend hardly any of 2024 talking about this because I guess it was like, let's wait until the election's over. And then we got to 2025, and then someone decided, well, let's just wait until the new CEO gets her footing and figures it out. And so we literally have been sitting on this for 2 years. And the only reason that we are now at this decision point of what I'm basically hearing is we don't have enough time to advance any recommendations to the legislature is solely the result of our inaction. Simple as that. They have given us their recommendation and we've sat on it for 2 years. So if one thing gets transmitted, if we're gonna, I mean, I would be totally against sending like 2 things to vote on a referendum. That would be pointless.
Okay.
Why would you ask the residents to vote on minor changes in a referendum? Referendums should be reserved for making big changes. So I would just humbly submit that we are at this point now because we have taken and we have dithered, that is the right word to use here, dithered, for 2 years, and now we're just now going over it. I mean, how much longer is it gonna take for us to
Okay.
go through
Is that
this
true?
line by line?
Okay.
And what I'm really concerned about is we don't have enough time, unless you're gonna call like two more special call meetings
Okay.
to go through this.
Okay, thanks.
So really what we're just saying now is we're gonna punt this for another year. And I just would like to register my protest of that is completely unacceptable and disrespectful to all of the people that we appointed to the Charter Review Commission who worked for 22 months. I mean, we all appointed people.
Right.
And we basically are just saying thanks, but no thanks. We'll
Okay.
take our own time.
Thank you so much. And I do appreciate the Charter Review Commission. And I know they worked very diligently. And, but they were recommendations for us to consider to give to the legislature. I would respectfully disagree with you that it's been set on. We've had many conversations on this. We've had many people that have come before us to present for this. But as I say with anything that requires a permanent change, you can't rush it. You know, I mean, how long have DeKalb been in existence? And when was the last time that we've had recommendations? So I just think it's something that we should go through. And if you don't want to bifurcate it, I mean, that's would be the decision of the committee to present to the board. I'm just presenting what the delegation presented to me. These are recommendations. We are considering the recommendations. We appreciate the service that the Charter Review has given us and every committee that we have composed. We appreciate their service, but they give us recommendations, and that's what we are considering. Now, with that in mind, we're at 103 in the ERPS committee, and so is there a motion to continue this at the next meeting? We will, instead of the rules being taken first, the Charter Review will be taken next. So is there a motion?
Motion to continue.
Second.
To what?
To continue?
Oh, to defer.
To defer,
to the
pardon me.
next meeting. Okay.
There is an agenda item associated with it.
So, yeah, thank you.
Item 1577.
Yeah, it is an agenda item. Yeah.
Information from TJ.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's deferred to the next meeting, which would be 12/2. Okay, thank you, Matthew. I'm sorry.
Be 15 minutes next meeting?
It will, depending on the agenda. So, we want to change seats.
Motion to adjourn.